My name is Divya. I work at Deloitte in M&A advisory. Being a CA, I've worked in this industry for say 2 to 3 years, right? Now, say if I want to shift into a role which is more of a corporate M&A or an investment profile, which you guys are into, right? How I mean, like, I have a competition from people who are doing MBA, right? You know, they're still preferring to hire people who are fresher MBAs for the same roles, right? So, I mean, like, what is it? Why do you think that people don't hire CAs for such role?
I'm looking for people in my FP&A M&A team, and I can answer this with more conviction. Just, think she's worked on one of our diligences, so just a disclaimer. I'm going to give a right story of the kind of candidate I'm looking at. We are an acquisition platform. We've done about 18 M&As till now in the last 1.5 years, and we're planning to do more. We do not differentiate for that particular role between an MBA and a chartered accountant. But disclaimer, I don't find so many chartered accountants wanting to apply for that role as much as I get, interest from the MBAs. I don't know if it's a matter of location. I'm looking for people in Chennai, so maybe it's a location thing. We are very neutral, and for me, M&A is just sales, right? You need to have the right communication, negotiation skills. So nobody is looking for DCF or whatever. You're sitting there. It's like how we do in shanties. There's very little science or math. It's more an art. So if you are willing to do it, I'm sure you'll find the right platforms. But in corporates, you don't find that many M&A focused roles. That's also one of the reasons, maybe big corporates do M&As frequently. But if you look at mid-sized firms, utna fundraise or nahi hota hai.
It comes down to storytelling skills. The average MBA does a much better job than the average CA, right? So it's not about analytic skills, but it's how you take the story, package it, and share it. And the more senior people go, they abstract to a level where you give them sound bites which are only relevant to them. As Indians and as CAs, we have a bad habit. When somebody asks a question, we want to answer the question, but we also want to tell them how much we know. The second part is not important. And this happens at all ages, right? So when we do that, we run the risk of being rendered redundant.
Fireside, we have chartered accountants who are in the investing team, but very similar response. It's as an industry, it's a little biased. It's not only biased between MBAs and CAs, it is very biased towards Harvard, Wharton, IIM, IIT. So that's the reality today. Unfortunately, that is what we see, and therefore it's a community which feeds into each other. So what has happened is over a period of time, best of these colleges have come to the best of the funds, and then the best of the funds have come out, and so it's a community which has got created. But I see that changing. We are seeing people with different backgrounds, and very, very similar to what both of them said. There is no substitute for real competence, and it is about really your insight on why you're a better investor, why you understand business better, how can you spot trends better. It is just that the likelihood of somebody from that background is more well exposed, or somebody who's worked in a consulting company like a McKinsey Bain, is just their exposure is in a way where they can articulate this much better. So that's really the reason, but there is no inherent bias or a qualification bias. I think we have way gone past that age of just it is a CA or MBA. It's just that certain background of people are find themselves more suited.
I got that. I think that answers the first part of my question. You were in the finance team of Myntra, right? How did you learn about investments and move to an investments role? Similarly, how did Sharda learn about M&A and learn about finance when she was from an engineering background and she did MBA? Like, how do you upskill yourself to become capable and competent to even apply for those kind of roles?
I think it's a very complex question, but if I had to, as I said, I was not very strong in technical finance, but maybe to some extent I could tell a story, but it was curiosity maybe. I think it is. I think I find less curiosity among many finance professionals. They don't ask why, and they said, okay, a lot of thing is given. And I think that ability to understand a business and asking questions unless you really are satisfied by the nth answer That really is investing is about, where you're, if it's a VC, it is even more tougher because you're not relying on data. It's a lot about intuition, a lot about future understanding, and unless you're convinced about a certain future trend, which is not backed by data, it is about asking why this product is likely to become large. It's a lot about curiosity, and the more curious, I find young people who are like kids who are in, not even, we get a lot of interns which are not even undergrads, who are going to Harvard or Yale and some of those colleges. I think the big difference is, which I find, is amazing amount of curiosity and their audacity to say, okay, I don't know, I don't understand why you guys make this investment because it doesn't make sense to me. And I see more you grow, and some of our very senior investment professionals who are principals and VPs, they are very worried, saying, okay, if I ask this question, how will I be viewed? How will I be treated? Is this a dumb question? Is it the right question? I think that's really the difference I see between being more audacious.